Township of Cohecton Council meeting September 3rd, 2013. Cohecton Township testing. Council meeting September 3, 2013. Cohecton.
Okay, so the meeting is scheduled and I should sign off on.
All right, I'll call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the Express Time and Star Gazette, satisfying the Open Public Meeting Act. If we could please stand for a silent prayer and then flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the August 20th meeting?
So moved.
Wanda, is
Yes.
that the one that I need?
That's correct. I made the corrections you wanted.
Well, yeah, but I also have to,
I have yours here.
in one of the ordinances, it just says road, it does not say river road, it needs to say river road.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
but it's legal, right? Okay. 'Cause I don't want to change the ordinance.
Okay, is there a second?
There was, and now I'm going to call roll.
Yeah, thank you.
Becker?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes.
Van Loo?
Yes.
Vangelli?
Yes.
And the mayor.
Yes. Okay, do I have a motion to pay the bills payment and proper form signed by the director of each department and approved by the majority of the members and listed on the bill list?
So moved.
Yeah. Just doing a quick look through. I thought I had them signed.
Becker?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes.
Van Loo?
I think that's it. Yes.
And Vangelli?
Yes.
Yes. All right, moving on. Next, we have our friends here from neighboring Greenwich Township. I'm just going to come down and read a proclamation we have for Greenwich. This is for their 275th anniversary, if you guys want to come up. Just a little bit of history. Cohecton broke away from Greenwich in 1881, so we have some shared history between our two communities. I don't know.
We don't know what the reason
I did go back and read the minute book when Cohecton was first founded to try to get some information on this. And I did find when Alpha broke away, and mysteriously the minutes are missing from that page. It's been ripped out, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But we probably look at your old minute book to see what happened then. But just to read, it says, whereas the township of Greenwich, County of Warren was first mentioned as a municipality in 1738, and whereas the township of Greenwich has at various times throughout history been mentioned as situated in Hunterdon and Morris counties, and was finally settled in Warren County in 1824, and whereas the municipalities of Hardwick, Blairstown, Mansfield, Oxford, Franklin, Harmony, and Phillipsburg were all at one part of Greenwich Township, and whereas the township of Cohecton was incorporated as part of Greenwich Township until 1881, and whereas Greenwich Township has played a vital role in the history and progress in not only Warren County but Northwest New Jersey. Now therefore be resolved that the mayor and council of the Township of Cohecton, County of Warren wish to congratulate Greenwich Township on this milestone. Be it further resolved that the mayor and council of the Township of Cohecton, County of Warren look forward to a continued partnership between our two communities. So Mayor Perez, if you want to say anything, here's
I did check our minutes and I found that you owe back taxes. I want to thank everyone. This is really such a nice thing that you do at Greenwich Township. I want to to say that this year, you know, there have been some differences in the past, and we seem to have come to a nice situation with us. You know, Greenwich working with Paul has been my pleasure, and the pleasure of my two committee at Siegel and police. Also, I'd like to say that committee men, Larry and Torriello, not making it like Larry had an open school night tonight, so that's why he's not here tonight. But this is really, really nice. It's really great, and I'd like to say it's been a pleasure working with all of you. Thank you so much. It was pleasant. It really was a pleasure to get us to really what Paul had, and I want to say thank you for all. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And nice to see you on the way in.
Would you say your name?
Thanks.
Just real quick, when is your festival? Just for a plug, if people want to go. Is that
September 21st.
Saturday.
September 21st?
Much congratulations. September 21st?
Yeah. Don't want to be rude, but yeah, thank you all. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. Moving on, do we have any public comment pertaining to agenda items? Yes, you just come up, sign in.
Les Nichols, Mellis Woods Road. I have a question on the 113-07 ordinance, funding general municipal building improvements for $300,000 without, some kind of breakdown or explanation. It just seemed very extravagant. Could someone provide a breakdown or an explanation where that $300,000 would be going?
Yeah, we brought this up at the last meeting. This is with the COA money that the township received from the Shimer School. It allowed us to have an extra $300,000 for improvements. This has already been allocated monies, so we're moving funds around to pay for those costs. So that's what these funding ordinances are.
No more improvements. Those resolutions that you complained about in the past, it's not in addition to those, it's for those.
These are, yeah, that's what these are.
There's no money for the general fund.
No. Yeah. Is there any other public comment pertaining to agenda items?
Jerry Kern. First question is it says here approval of purchase development easement, Czar property. Does it have a cost for that?
No. This is, it's somewhat of a formality. It's the township is offering its blessing, and they're going to receive funding through the county and the state.
Okay.
So the township is not paying for anything with that.
Okay. Second one is the third motion. Do we presently have someone in the township taking care of the wastewater collection system?
No, we do not. The township never has. We've never had a certified water.
Years ago we did.
Yeah.
Back in the before.
Probably for the past 10 years, there has not been a licensed water operator in Powhatan Township.
Wasn't Phillipsburg looking for that fellow?
Yes, yeah.
And we just ignored them.
Yeah.
Now we're legal.
No, we can't ignore them no more, or it's a mandate, or what's the? Why are we,
It's always been a mandate by the DEP.
And I think if there's ever any issues, it helps our validity in an argument to have a licensed operator in case there are any discrepancies. Before, we were relying on Phillipsburg to provide, like looking out for Powhatan, which, is giving the wolf
Okay.
keys to the hen house. Yeah.
last comment, in reference to the clerk looking for code enforcement officer, I'm sorry, zoning officer.
Yeah.
Have we given any thought to anyone in-house, like presently the building inspector? Or
They're
someone?
more than welcome to apply to the position, but we're going to put it out to see if anyone is interested
Is there
outside.
any chance of saving costs, being he's already here? He can piggyback the hours or somehow, or?
Actually better to have two different people In the past, we had, like, again, in the before time, we had the same person doing both jobs, and it would create some problems. So I think you're better off if you can get two different people.
Okay. I was just looking for some kind of cost savings.
I
Maybe
understand.
means he's already, working for the town, or B, he does 2 jobs and he's here.
But if you add extra jobs on, then you start adding on the hours too. when you get to-
Well, I understand there'll be more hours, but maybe he'd be willing to work with us if he's coming to one place and, can do the, rather than jumping around, I think he does other towns anyways. It's just a thought.
Wanda, do zoning officers need to take any tests?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I think Wayne's already a zoning officer.
He is.
Yeah, I think he does serve. I don't know if Lopat, you say?
Lopat,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if he'd be interested. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just thinking if someone's here, you'd think they'd be willing. I don't know if he sets the price or if you set the price, or if maybe he'd be willing to be less.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just throwing it out there.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I can talk to Wayne at some point.
I was gonna say, Jerry, anytime you have any ideas, there's no such thing really as a terrible idea. You never know.
Any other public comment pertaining to agenda items? Being none, attorney's report.
Mayor, I don't have a lot this evening since we just had a meeting only a couple weeks ago. Mostly of the litigation items that there's really nothing to report to the public at this time. One thing I did want to discuss, I know Gwen isn't here tonight, but last Thursday, right before the holiday break, Gwen sent me, and the chief is here, so maybe we can talk about it in a minute. But apparently down there on Carpentersville Road, I guess, somebody operating the railroad took it upon themselves to paint a homemade crosswalk across the road there. Gwen sent me some pictures. I don't know if you've seen these, but we have an unofficial crosswalk now in the middle of our public road. Apparently the train stops there. They get off to go into a cornfield maze. I guess the concept was a good one, but it's completely not up to crosswalk standards. It's not in our ordinance. There's no signage. I think Gwen is correct that it creates a little bit of a concern on my part about liability for an unofficial crosswalk. Jeff, I don't know if Chief.
Well, I know some of the residents have complained about it.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a lot of people walking around down there during, I guess they have events down there on the weekends.
Yeah.
And some of the residents who live down on River Road have complained about it.
Yeah. I mean,
They have a gate that opens, it blocks half the road.
But the thing is, the legality of it, is it legal? Do you need to get approvals, just like for stop signs and things like that? Do you need to get approvals
Right.
from the state?
I think you have to have approval.
We would have to minimum do an ordinance. So I think my suggestion is I do a letter to the organization saying, hey, this is an issue and it's going to have to be removed, or perhaps they want to pay. If they can come to a council meeting if they want to discuss paying for Gwen to update our code book if you're happy with having some type of crosswalk there. But it needs to be officialized, so I think I should get.
Is the traffic that heavy where it is? That
There's a lot of
the need
people.
for that?
Yeah,
There's a lot
that's
of
the other
people.
thing I think I wanted to bring up. I mean, and the chief just mentioned it. If there are a lot of people like that, and again, the railroad might be willing to pay for them, but it wouldn't maybe be a bad idea to have some type of signage from either direction saying, "Hey, caution."
Yeah.
Like we're doing Alba down there when Alba has.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that wouldn't be a bad idea, and I think it's something. In my experience, the railroad has been pretty cooperative in working with us in those things. So I can understand the concept, but they just went about it without even notifying us and seeing it on our road. And so I'll get a letter out to them if that's acceptable to the mayor and council, and we'll ask them to address it. It's not bad looking, but as I said, I just have a concern because it's totally unofficial and it's just.
What is this, Carpentersville Road?
Yeah, and there's apparently a corn maze over here that they're going to be utilizing. So I imagine during the, as we get into fall, there's going to be.
Yeah, it's
more
that,
people.
we should probably get on that quick
So
then.
I'll get on that quickly. I'll get a letter out tomorrow. Ask them to come to our meeting on the 17th.
Well, they definitely have it lined up nicely.
Oh, wow.
Propose some signage. Beyond that, as I said, not a lot to report public consumption between now and the last meeting of a couple weeks ago.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Moving to Township Council reports, Frank.
Not too much to report either. It's been only a couple of weeks, as Kevin said. We had our Historic Commission meeting last Wednesday. The Regalsville Historic District, we're looking to go ahead on, the Historic Commission is looking to go ahead with that and hire somebody to help that process. Michael Margulies is going to speak at several different occasions. October 26th, the Hoffanetta Farm. October 12th, the Roseberry House in Phillipsburg. And on September 24th, the High Bridge Reformed Church. And at September 22nd, the DeVore Farm in Flemington. He does make a nice presentation, so if anybody's interested in this historical buildings, you might want to see that. And again, Mayor Kern mentioned this last meeting, but I'd like to remind people, October 19th, there's going to be our Phillipsburg Historic Preservation Commission, Society, I should say, is going to have their tour of old houses around town. We're going to be on it, and several other old houses, or many other old houses can be on it. There's going to be a railroad train tour associated with it. Alba Vineyard, I think, is going to have a night before the tour event. So it's a good event. Something that's kind of unrelated, but was nice for the town residents. August 24th and 25th, there was a air show and car show at Lehigh Valley Airport, and in each day they awarded best People's Choice Awards, and on both days they awarded to our town residents, Bob Fry and Doc Briglia.
Oh, wow.
So I was kind of proud of that. Financials, I think, are going pretty well. I mean, we have some tax settlements that we have to talk about in executive session that are ongoing. Not too much else to report.
All right, thank you, Frank. Dave?
Mayor, I don't have a lot to discuss. DPW guys have, we're working the same as always. They worked on a drain pipe on Pinterest Point, where the road has collapsed a little bit. They remediated that for now. They can do a vehicle maintenance and roadside mowing. I met with Jeff today. We have some equipment things we need to address, some repairs to be made. But other than that, everything else is well, pretty much as normal. The Environmental Commission, we will meet this month in September at our normal time here at the municipal building. The website has not been corrected yet, but we will meet here at our normal time.
I think it has been. I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Fixed, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, we have some issues and some things to discuss there that have come up over the summer. Nothing earth-shattering. But there again, we will have a meeting in September. Other than that, Mayor, I don't really have a whole lot.
All right, thank you, Dave. Mary?
Okay, first, the fire company. I will not do a police report at this meeting. I just do it once a month. It's usually at the second meeting of the month. But for the police, again, they're busy as usual. Responded to a whole bunch of alarms, motor vehicle accidents, even heat from a short circuit and smoke. So that's it. They're volunteers, and I do every month. I'll put out the call for anybody who feels inclined to go through the training that you need and become a member of the fire department.
Harry, I'd like to add there was another accident at the I-22 22 intersection on, I think it was Labor Day.
Really?
Yeah. We come through there and there was 4 or 5 cars involved right there at that stoplight.
Wow.
Where our cameras have been turned off.
Hey, Wanda.
Another one.
How many were there?
I think there was 4 cars involved. I went by And you can follow up with the police chief what day it was. Almost certainly it was around Labor Day at lunchtime.
All right, and then the other thing now, do we need to go into executive session for the ACO?
Yes.
Okay, then I will postpone that.
Is that all?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Sal?
The land, I think we should take that land on High Street and make the width of that road 3 foot wider.
That was the right of way the state told us about, Sal?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
There's a motion on there to do that.
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah, there's a motion to,
Yes, I didn't reject it.
Because you never know what's gonna happen, and 3 foot means a lot. Okay, what about the Groton property on Musconecton Street?
what about it?
Did you hear anything? I didn't hear anything.
No.
Nothing.
Mm-mm.
Cutting a lot of grass and cutting a lot of hedges. We still have a ways to go, but we, and every week, we're taking care of them.
Good.
Dave, we'll talk with Homer then, right?
Yeah, at some point we make an appointment to sit down and talk to John over that.
Okay, I don't have anything more. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sal. Couple things I would just like to make mention of. The first is upon meeting with Greenwich about their congratulations, I realized that Lopakong is also having a 150th anniversary, and we'll be sending them a proclamation. They have something happening this weekend, so I figured that would be a nice gesture as well, because we already set the precedent for resolutions for towns. Second thing is, yesterday I rode around with one of our police officers, observing some of our new police equipment and seeing how it's helping the officers, you know, do their duties, and it's pretty remarkable. We were able to find a lot of things. Again, the officer that I went around with showed great professionalism. It was a great experience, and I would recommend, if anyone on council is interested, to really see what our police officers go through on a day-to-day basis, coordinate with the chief to do a ride-along, because it really was, you know, call after call, or, you know, suspended license or registration or speed. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on in our township, and it was, you know, 4 hours of my time that I'm glad I did that. So coordinate with the chief. It'll be an eye-opening experience for everyone.
A license plate reader?
Yes, yeah, we got, yes, yeah. Also, I wanted to announce, I alluded to it at our last meeting, the Musconecton Riverside Association is receiving the Coastal America Partnership Award, and that's going to be September 13th from 1 to 3 p.m. at our Finesville Park. I think it would be a good thing for us all to go to if you can make it. And that award, just for the public, is the highest level award granted by Coastal America, and it's a unique partnership of federal agencies, state and local governments. The award recognizes outstanding collaboration, multi-agency and multi-stakeholder efforts that leverage and combined resources to accomplish coastal restoration, preservation, protection, and education. And if you've been coming to the meetings, you're aware of the work that the Musconecton Riverside Association has been doing with the removal of the dams, and this is why they're receiving this award. So it would be if the community even wants to come out, it's a nice. Well, Congressman Lansing Garrett will be there. No, they're not gonna.
I forgot to mention in my report that the Historic Commission is going to be represented. I think Margot said he was going to go.
Oh, great, okay, good.
Oh, so I did. All right, well, when you mentioned about Michael and historic, I was at the tunnel when I think it was the Conservancy came, because we've applied to them for a grant to finish the tunnel. So they came to check it out, see what we've done, asked a lot of questions. Michael was excellent in answering the questions, and a certain other person was supposed to be there, but he must have forgotten.
I'm guilty.
But it was very informative, and it was very nice. So.
I agree with you. Michael is excellent at getting grants for.
And so hopefully we're going to get the funding for it.
Great. Do you have something you wanted to say, Sal? About the Muscatine
What was
Con?
that date?
I'll get it to you.
September 13th.
Yeah, 1 to 3 at Finesville Park.
See, that's Groton's property where they planted, the state planted all those trees.
You mean by the water?
Oh, by the water over there.
Yeah,
Oh.
it comes in up to the street,
My 8th graders planted that.
all those
The
trees.
school was our 8th grade came over to college. And they had all the trees, and I was the
Looks
administrator.
nice,
And they planted all the trees there.
very nice. I thought it was the state.
Well, I guess maybe that's where they got the trees. I don't know.
What time?
But it was-
September the 13th.
1 to 3. And the one other thing I wanted to bring up and see if we could have some consensus tonight is, I mentioned this before about having a town hall meeting of literally just public comment. I mean, we could pay bills of something. We're going to advertise it as a general meeting, but in the effort that this council has, I think, become incredibly transparent for people with, online meeting minutes, online videos, and now to meet on a Saturday, November 9th at 10 a.m. Is that something that works for everyone?
Yeah, I
The
should
9th?
know by then.
At 10? I was going to do it later, but I think people on a Saturday wouldn't give up their entire day to
Well,
come to
are they
it.
still playing, the children playing football and that kind of stuff then? Are they still doing that?
That's was soccer day. So, yeah, I think, we're not going to be able to get everybody, but we'll be able to get somebody. So does that date work for everybody? It's listed as a motion. So if that's okay, I'll leave that on there. All right, and that is all I have. If we want to move on to resolutions, I would like to take them separately. If that's all right with everyone? Is that okay?
Yep.
Do I have a motion for the approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the reconstruction of Foch Boulevard?
So moved.
All right, and I will second it. This is the second time that we're doing this, correct?
Yes.
This is the one we've done before.
Yes.
Tried last year and didn't get it.
Right, okay. And the second time's a charm.
Yeah.
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Slack,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. All right, motion to grant the approval of the purchase of the development easement of the Czar Farm Block 11, Lot 6 in Poacong Township and consisting of approximately 96.2 acres. And if we could just include language, just for everyone's comfort, that says the township is not contributing any funds to this project at all. Just extra.
The resolution does state.
It does suggest that? Okay, thank you. All right, so do I have a motion for that?
I'll move that.
Second.
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Slack,
Yes.
Van Loo, yes, Angeli,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. All right, ordinances. Does anyone mind, we can just open these all up for second reading? Does anyone have a problem with that?
You mean all of them and just let whoever wants to address it?
Yes. Yeah, is that all right?
I'll move that.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
It's just that people need to be.
Yeah,
tell
this
them
is
which
public
one.
comment for ordinance 13-7 through 13-11. If you have a public comment, please come in and sign the paper. Is there any public comment?
1310, the price came down on that now. Before it was over $2 million.
That's for the other part of River Road.
That's for the road collapse. This is.
Yeah, that's a different part of River Road, so.
Oh, okay, all right.
I had a question about 13-11, the Economic Development Advisory Commission.
Yes.
Is that going to be an actual commission that with minutes, it's going to be having meetings here?
Yes.
So is that in the budget to have a secretary and all that? Whatever costs are involved with that, letterheads.
The way the ordinance is set up, it's set up.
A member can,
Historic Commission, so it'll get a budget annually from this council, a not to exceed budget, but whatever, mayor and council feel can afford. And it'll run the same way. It's modeled very closely after the Historic Commission.
Okay. So familiar with it. I just want to put out there, I'm all for small business and trying to entice small business and try and give them some breaks. In the article that you were quoted is there was large landowners of large tracts of land, and they had some problems with our permitting issues. And having sit on the land use board, I think they've got plenty of money and they've got plenty of lawyers and professionals to figure out how they want to get around this if they so choose. I don't see how it would behoove us to try and make things easier for them.
all right, thank you. Is there any other public comment? Please come up, sign it.
Jerry Kern. I can't remember which ordinance it was, but we had spoke, or the council had spoke briefly about the costs of the engineering. I believe it was on the 1309. Is there any further review on that as far as costs, the engineer's costs?
There's no further review that I'm aware of, but I do think that there was some misstatement made at that meeting. I think when we were talking about the Maple Avenue Bridge, I think what was said was that the total would be $115,000, of which the engineering cost would be $47,000. I think it's better and worse. I mean, it's the total cost is 170. It was 115 plus 47, or about 170. So it's better in that the engineering costs are a smaller percentage of the total, but it's worse that it's a larger total. So
Right.
It's still a concern that, of mine that, I think engineering costs need to be looked at, and you have to find
Yeah.
a way to make sure they're competitive.
That's where I'm headed with this. I don't feel it's inappropriate for this board or council to, take a second look at these numbers and question the engineer. If the engineer has an issue with the town looking at the numbers, then maybe there's a problem. But I know other towns do it every couple years. I don't know, maybe this council knows, but I don't recall the last time this council, any council, as long as I've been coming to these meetings, which is well over 10 years, has checked the engineering numbers. And I think it's appropriate that they do. How do we, I mean, maybe they're fine, but you don't know that until you look. And I don't think the engineer should be upset with that. If everything is right, then and I don't think it's in any disrespect to this council to be following it on this taxpayer dollars, and I think they should be looked at. And I would hope that they do that soon, because there was a lot of comment from this council in reference to those numbers. And now I see here we're going to vote on it. It may be too late for this one, but I would hope in the future we could look at these things a little closer, because I know past councils never did.
But I think we did.
Council will.
I don't think you were at the last meeting. I think we did discuss this a little bit, and I think well, I want to say that the engineer got the grants for 500 out of those 780 total costs for those two ordinances. She got grants of 500. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't keep an eye on engineering costs, and I agree with that.
It was more than that, they thought it was 600,000. She spent 100 for the one and I think 500 for the other.
I thought it was 100 and 400.
Well, and I think, but to answer Jerry's broader question, I think something that I have no objection to is for reorg, we will ask professionals and for proposals. And we can relate it to what we're getting elsewhere, you know.
But I think you can use these numbers with someone else just to get an idea, even before that.
Is there anything from stopping us from putting, say, a cap on engineering, that if it goes over X amount of dollars on engineering, that the job has to be put out to bid for the engineering and design?
Or like percent of the total job.
Right.
Yeah, that might.
Is there anything stopping us from doing that?
I don't know about that, but I'm just also leery though, don't forget when you start putting out bids for things about taking the lowest bid.
Well, I know from the thing.
No, I'm not suggesting that either.
That might
That-
end up
that's
like with
wrong.
something that we ended up for the municipal
Municipal,
building.
I agree 100%. You get what you pay for, and
Yeah.
that I don't want to go through that nightmare again with our everyday engineering things.
And I'm not suggesting that you don't pay more if you
That's
feel
the
it's
problem,
somewhere
Gary.
better. But how do we know? It's been so many years, no one knows.
If we do put it out for bid, like Mary said, we have to take the lowest bid, and sometimes you get what you pay for. So that's my only reserve with it, Jerry. After all the things in the municipal building that were not engineered properly, and that's just, I'm very hesitant
Right.
to. And I know just what you're saying, make them be accountable, justify where they're coming up with their money, and compare it, just apples for apples to make sure we're getting, the most for our money, and I can understand that.
I'm not suggesting they're doing a bad job. I'm just saying, I think it's normal and fair that the
Keep them honest.
is
Right.
concerned with the costs and it's taxpayer dollars, and if however they can go about it to figure out that it's being fair is all I'm asking. My last comment's 1311. Economic Development Advisory Commission. I'm hoping that this is a committee that's or a commission that's going to be proactive with any development in the town. That's what this town's been lacking for years. I realize there's plenty of people in town that are completely against any type building. Too bad, because quite frankly, a town can't survive without some economic growth. And being proactive is the way to get it. That's how you don't get Toll Brothers. You don't get what Greenwich is, Scott. You go out and solicit what you want, what you think is going to work for the town and fit in the town. Don't wait for these people to come and try jamming something down your throat. It's easy to put up all kind of red tape regulations and mess it up for everybody else, trying to protect yourself, but I think a little proactivity might be better. I think this is a great ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment pertaining to these ordinances?
I would like to say that,
Well, Sal, we'll make a motion to close, then you can speak.
okay,
I'll move, close public comment and adopt these ordinances.
I'll second it.
And we are going to amend the ordinance for River Road number
I
1310.
have to do it, sorry.
That's okay. Councilwoman Van Loo, do you want to just explain that?
All right, in the ordinance, or in the minutes, when I was reading through where the ordinance was for first reading, I noticed that it just had the word road, and it didn't have River Road in front of it. So it needs the word river in it. To make it legal, because you can't just amend an ordinance like when you're doing the minutes, like you want to change something else that was said at the meeting or whatever. In this particular case, since it is an ordinance, it has to be done now. So we're going to make it correct now.
Great, I have a motion. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, do I have discussion before, Sal, you wanted to say something on this?
yeah, I wanted to, in defense of Gwen, she got us many millions of dollars. Right from the top of my head, Mountain Road, Cemetery Road, Mount Joy Road. All over the township, she has gotten us a lot of grant money. And in my opinion, she has done a great job.
She's the Michael Margolis of roads.
Well, the important statistic for this year is that Pohatcong Township in Warren County, New Jersey, is receiving half of the state's discretionary aid, which is incredible to think about. We're getting half of the state's discretion. I mean, granted, it was depleted because of Sandy, and they're not awarding as much out, but still, and that's an incredible figure. But all right. So do I have a motion and a second? This is for a vote.
Wait a minute.
This is to amend ordinance 1310.
Amend and adopt. Oh, we have to amend it
Oh,
first?
excuse me.
I think you take it one.
I did it close public comment.
And then move
Adopt
with the amendment.
ordinances, But with the amendment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Slack,
Yes.
and Lou,
Yes.
and Jelly,
Yes.
and Mayor Kern.
Yes. All right, motions. Does anyone have an issue with these, or can we take them all together?
I move to take them together.
Can we discuss, I've got a couple of questions on that.
Yeah, fire away.
The leaf pickup, is that the same people that did it last year?
Yes.
I noticed when I was walking around campaigning that that was just the time of year when they're doing the leaf pickup. And this is it's a tractor that tows something that sweeps it up. And I don't know whether it was just last year was a bad year or something, but they would sweep up and then there was a row in the middle left after they swept. I don't know. To me, it just wasn't. And as I was walking down, people knocking on doors, people were complaining about the job.
Well, do you want to put it out to bid? I mean,
Yeah.
this is, all right,
I mean,
we'll hold
see
that.
if we can
All
get
right.
better.
That's fine. So we'll hold Abe. Put that up to bid.
Mayor, are we gonna be able to get that out for bid, advertise it, and get it in a timely fashion to when it needs to be done?
Well, it doesn't have to be it's below the bid threshold. So Kevin, we could have that for adoption at our next meeting, right? We could say 10 days or a week. Yeah. Yeah, we could do a proposed. By the way.
Could we amend this motion to say to authorize leaf pickup not to exceed $10,000, but leave the vendor,
Yeah, can we do that? Award.
to award a vendor
Well, what if a vendor was willing, oh, yeah, if it was.
not
under
to exceed
$10,000,
$10,000?
not to exceed.
Yeah, you can do that.
All right, then we'll
As
replace
a-
that. That's,
They've done it for a number of years, I think, haven't they?
They have it. And I always thought they went back and picked up the
They
center
Go
strips.
back and take the left.
I don't live there, so I mean, if somebody has any better information than I
Like
heard.
Shimer.
Frank, like you said, they windrow and then they suck that windrow up into the machine.
Yeah, we had it.
And just to the best of my recollection, what had happened is ABE kept getting these bids because they were the only one that would submit a proposal because there's not a lot of companies.
do it.
Okay.
But that's council's decision, but I'm just saying.
No, I mean, I don't want to put a lot of work out there if people know better, have better information than I have. I mean,
most people,
Yeah.
I've never had a complaint about it. But
maybe
I mean,
because I was in the middle of their process. Okay, I'm fine with it as is. My other question was on the last one. I mean, I guess, I have a laptop. A lot of people have laptops. Is there something special about these that,
this is so that if you say you're not here or someone else is here, so that you don't have to bring a computer. It's for council to type correspondence or write letters. I believe the itemized cost of the laptops was $229, if that's correct. So it was a pretty low price. I mean, we don't have to, this is just a way to try to get us to be a little bit more paperless.
well, maybe we could say up to 5 because I don't need it. Or,
Wait, for the tablets or for the laptops?
the tablets up to 5. I have a tablet. And
Well, what we're getting it, think of it as Like your 1, 2, 3, 4, like we're getting that for whoever, for the position, not necessarily for you, like, because I mean, I'm going to teach Sal how to use a tablet, but if he doesn't want to, that's on him. But that's my goal.
I'm back in the Stone Age.
That's That's the idea. I understand that you have one. I have a laptop too.
I'm not very savvy either, Mary.
Well, we'll have courses then. But I observed this being done at a couple other meetings. The members had the tablets, and the one thing it does is it reduces the amount of paper that we go through, which is an exorbitant amount of paper through correspondence. 2, as far as organization, I know, myself included, there are hundreds of times where I'm up here and I forget something or I have to reference back to something, and you're going through the papers, and if you link it up to the township emails we have, you'll be able to go through and browse that way. So it's a way to take out the personal, have something that the township's providing for you. You don't have to accept it, but it's for...
I know what the mayor's saying, that when our term is up, it's here for the next person.
Right.
Still has a date on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you'll have to sign it out. It'll just be like when we had the old ordinance books, which, too, the ordinance book is a downloadable app that will be on the thing, too, so you can sew. It'll be pretty nifty, too. You're going to have a good time with this.
All right.
But if that was...
No, it's okay, I'm cool.
Okay.
We moved them and is there a second?
Is there a second? Was there a motion?
I made the motion.
Council.
Yeah, where's the money coming from? $1,600 we don't have.
I believe there's some in council.
Oh, we have to have a resolution for it?
No, I just need to know where.
I believe it's coming, I have a spot for it in the budget. I think it's coming from council, yeah, it's in there. Yeah. Mhm.
For education?
Yeah.
All these motions are subject to certification of funds by Lorraine anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll just make that caveat for the record. Subject to whether we have the money.
Yeah.
Somebody second?
Did you make the motion?
Yeah, I did.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second
Becker?
Yes.
Schleck?
Yes.
St. Luke? And Shelley?
Yes.
And Mayor Kern.
Yes. All right, public comment. If anyone has public comment, please step forward, sign in, and
Enrique Hernandez, 301 River Road.
hold on, wait.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. On June 19th of this year, the New Jersey Highlands Coalition, which is the advocacy group, issued a press release. And in that press release, there is a paragraph that is pertinent to Powhatan, very brief. This is mentioning that a local group has received a grant up to $5,000. The group is Eco Action Initiatives of Warren County. The grant is geared to hire a lawyer and engineer to set precedent in Warren County for municipal responsibility for stormwater management and implementation of special water resource protection area regulations in connection with a project in Powhatan Township. This group, Eco Action Initiatives, hired an attorney. This attorney is Daniel Summers. Mr. Summers filed lawsuit against Powhatan Township, against the Land Use Board, and against me personally. It's interesting to note that Mr. Summers is the husband of the executive director of the New Jersey Highlands Coalition. So this pattern of monies being given to grassroots groups for the purposes of filing lawsuits, and then the hiring of this particular attorney related to the director of the Highlands Coalition has repeated itself. And I personally found, including this instance, 3 separate instances of this situation occurring. Now, this lawsuit was filed on July 5th of 2013. Reviewing further the documentation indicates that the group Eco Action Initiatives filed on July 19th of 2013 documents with the state of New Jersey. And these documents indicate that as of July 19th of 2013, there are 3 members in this group. The first member is Judy Forbes from 66 Creek Road in Pohatcong. The second member is Pete Wallendahl, 80 River Road in Pohatcong. And the third member and CEO is Laura Altman of 319 River Road. Research that I did concerning Eco Action Initiatives revealed very scant documentation prior to this filing of July 19th of 2013. At various times, Laura Altman has identified herself as either the owner of the group, the director of the group, the executive director of the group, or the president of the group. Well, currently, she is CEO of this group. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, and I believe this is important, first, let me just say that I don't think there's anything wrong with filing a lawsuit. It's a constitutional right. Every citizen is entitled to do that. I will avail myself of that right as well when I see fit. But I think it is important for the members of the council and for the public at large to know who the people are behind the name. You file with a name that is somewhat anonymous. There are real people behind that, and that's important. But what is truly important is to know where is the money coming from to pay for that lawsuit. And in this particular case, that press release from New Jersey Highlands Coalition clearly indicates that they are the source of money for that lawsuit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Hernandez, that grant, it came from the Highlands Coalition, or did the Highlands Coalition solicit the grant from a state or federal agency?
Well, the Highlands Coalition receives money from multiple sources, including the state of New Jersey, as well as other charities. They, in turn, then distribute grants to smaller groups. This particular press release indicates that the grant went from New Jersey Highlands Coalition to Eco Action Initiatives.
Right. But what I want to know is who's funding the coalition then? They solicit from private individuals, or are they getting monies from state and federal agencies?
They are getting money from the state. They're also getting money from established groups within the state of New Jersey. I found that the Fund for New Jersey was their biggest donor.
Okay, we have exceeded the 5 minutes, so I don't want to get into it again. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
You bet.
Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Les Nichols, I've signed in. I have a request for the council. I brought this up before, and it didn't seem to materialize. I'd like to make a formal request for a written copy of our township weed ordinance and invasive species ordinance, if there is one. The reason I'm requesting it, I have an ongoing problem with property in the township. Is currently involved in a program to raise warm season grasses as a habitat for birds, which is not a problem. In addition to that, it's also producing a lot of weed seeds, because part of the problem, or part of the program, requires it's not mowed till, I don't know, the 1st of August or the middle of August. And by that time, the majority of the weed seeds are already there for the year. And then when they mow it and bale it, if they do mow it and bale it, it just disperses the seeds. And with all the rain we've had, they come through my property and adjacent property and every property downstream as far as runoff water is concerned on the way to the Delaware River. And it may have been acceptable years ago, and now here we're doing more hedge clipping and lawn mowing. If that's in a roadway and a limited site thing, I agree, we should do that first and foremost. but this is in doing environmental damage. It's producing noxious and invasive seeds, distributing through the township, and it's being funded. It's being paid for to do this. I'm not sure where the money comes from. It's administered by the DEP, a department of it, and it's called LIP, a Landowner Incentive Program. And from what I understand, it's a 5-year program. They pay a landowner for 5 years to prep their land, plant this grass, and then grow it for 5 years as bird habitat. I spoke to a much longer-term resident than myself, Mr. A.C. Hartung, who also lives adjacent to one, and he told me that there was more birds there before this program. And after living next to this one for 5 years, I tend to agree with him. I have yet to see the first bird nest in the grass, and there's no birds except for crows and hawks, because it's also, besides producing weeds, it produces a lot of mice and moles and voles, which are detrimental to the some of the native plants as well. And the birds that go over, the hawks are looking for them, and sometimes the weeds are so thick the foxes can't get in there to control them like they should, the mice. So it's been a big problem. I'm formally requesting a written copy to see if it is in violation. And I've already spoke to the departments at DEP, and it's like a brick wall. I'm getting a report that they didn't happen. Well, that's worse than ludicrous. Or I have weeds, but they don't. Before this program, when it was corn in there, landowner plowed up the weeds from the previous year, planted corn. Well, weed seeds, any farmer in the township can tell you, they last for years in the ground. They sprout after the corn comes up every year. It's just beyond ludicrous for these DEP people to say that once the grass was planted, there's no more weeds of any kind. Because Rutgers and Penn State can tell you they can last in the ground for 50 years, these seeds. So it's impossible to stop producing weed seeds on the spot once this is been planted. So this particular program, as I understand, is in the 5th and final year, but there may be others in the township in the future. I think they need to be included and as part of our noxious and invasive weed program and handle beyond that, so they're not producing weed seeds at will. Thank you.
Yeah, just to let you know, I did send a cookie cutter invasive ordinance to the Environmental Commission a few days ago, so you'll be able to help write one for the township on your capacity.
I think we had one quite a while ago concerning noxious weeds, but
We do, and the mayor sent the same draft to me, and I
thank you.
commented that.
I've never been able to see a full copy in print. That's what I'm requesting.
I can probably email you one. Do you have an email?
No, I don't.
We'll be able to have you pick it up. We'll contact, we know how to contact you.
Council, if you want to email it to me, I can get it to Leslie.
Okay.
All right.
Is there any other public comment? Sir.
Jerry Kern. First question is to Mr. Benbrook. Is the council obligated to go with the lowest bid when everything's got the bid in all circumstances?
Jerry, it depends on if you're using the formal bid process. The answer would be yes. There's an alternate process, which is called request for proposals. It can be utilized for situations like you were suggesting with professionals like specialized attorneys or structural engineers or things of that nature. You can get a request for proposal from those types of people and evaluate not just the price, but their qualifications, background, history, and things of that nature. And we have used that a little bit in the past for certain projects. I think the arch, still that arch may have been one. Unfortunately, that didn't work out real well. Yeah, that went down, but there is an alternative mechanism.
Right. Well,
if you go with normal bid process,
yeah.
Basically it's lowest responsible bidder, and if they comply with the bid docs and have the lowest number, you're
right. But for just getting ideas, that would be more than adequate to use that other.
You can use that for something like, especially like professionals.
Right.
Architects, engineers,
Right.
attorneys.
I mean, there was a lot of circumstances to the tunnel. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, that was,
you can't blame that totally on that procedure.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it just happened to have not worked out well.
Right. There is an opportunity for this council to to look further into this and not be obligated to go with someone, I think. And I know there's plenty engineers out there would be more than happy to probably entertain the idea of working for this town. My last comment is in reference to the paving, not paving, the leaf pickup. I think this company's been with us for a few years. I know at least in the annex area where I'm at, I've never noticed any problem. I always thought they've always done a fairly decent job. But that's not to say they were messy somewhere else. None of my neighbors have ever complained about anything. But, you know, you're always going to have a complaint from somebody about something, no matter what you do. But I'm never against the fact to go out to bid. Never. I think that just makes people honest. And if they're there, then, and if you're not obligated to go with the lowest one, I'm not suggesting that you change. But, and all my comments before in reference to the engineer, you know, I'm not suggesting that they're not doing a good job. It's just a checks and balances. So I don't have a problem with them, but if, you know, you want to go to bid or throw out the fact that, you know, when whoever's in charge of that outfit and doing it, that you say there, you know, there's potentially been some complaints, maybe they have to clean it up a little better. That's all. And then if there's a problem next year, then you look further. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Trish Becker, Creek Road. I haven't offered public comment in quite a while because my husband is on council, and I never wanted to seem as if I'm cheerleading for him because I don't do that. I don't like to do that. But tonight I heard something from Enrique Hernandez that I found quite astonishing. That 3 of my neighbors, I live down on Creek Road, have filed this lawsuit against these individuals and the town and the land use board. I just want to mention that before the Hernandezes moved into their property, there was it was owned by someone else, and a family was renting that property, and the one of the members of that rental family was burglarizing homes in Pohatcong Township, down in the lower end of the township. Not only was this individual burglarizing homes, I actually walked into a home as this person was walking out the back door having ransacked a home, which was quite astonishing for me. But the family also stole a puppy, didn't return the dog, and a member of this family was also going down and going into mailboxes and opening up mail, looking for cash and checks. And it was a really bad scene. Then they would throw the mail away on the side of the road. So I have to say that I'm really happy that we have a family who's moved into the Hernandez's property, who's cleaning up the property. You know, I can only assume that they're going through the proper channels for approvals. And in my mind, it's safer. The Pohatcong Township down there is much safer. And you know, so I'm just shaking my head about my neighbors with this lawsuit. So I just want to go on public record about that. I don't know that many people understand or are aware of the family that was at that property before and the problems that caused our township. That young man who was doing the burglarizing and the vandalizing of, it's a federal offense to go through mail. He actually was finally arrested and he went to jail. And the family moved away. So I want to share that with the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, do I have a motion for executive session for contractual and litigation? Probably be about half hour to 45 minutes, and action will be taken.
I'll move that.
Second.
Okay, Becker?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes.
Bigelow?
Yes.
Vangelis?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes.
How long is this going to take, Mayor?
Half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty good if they doubled up the goddamn ceiling tiles.
Yeah, don't you love it?
I had never heard of that. Yeah.
Who's the man? Oh, he stopped off at the CFO's office.
Paper clips.
So now he's collecting tabs. Is that for the whole year or not?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because people bring us big bags of tabs.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
You already got it?
You got it
He
this
brings in the
afternoon.
school and they win prizes. Very competitive. He wants to have the most tabs.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Does this mean I should start saving my tabs for?
Yeah, bring him in, he'll like it.
Motion to come out of executive session?
I'll
Make
move
the
that.
motion.
Oh, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do I have, we have,
Okay, yes, I would like to move that we hire Vince Catelli as our ACO.
which is, could you just say what that is?
Animal.
Oh, Animal Control
Thank you.
Officer, I'm sorry.
Hey, all right.
And his salary for what, 7,500, and that includes mileage.
All right, do I have a motion for that?
That is my motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Slack,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Vangelli,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Is there any other motion that we need? Or no?
Nothing on building.
No, okay. All right, do I have a motion, do I have any new business, old business, anything? Motion to adjourn?
I'll move that.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
It's always so late.
I'll try to talk to Wayne, I think he wants to see what he has to say about that.
Oh,
If he has the time or if it's.
Yeah. I picked that up.
Yeah, I mean,
Jim.
Sal.
Softer, because
Yeah.
I'm writing with this
Exactly,
one, and
yes.
it's, I'm getting like a callus on my finger.
Yeah.
Do that,